Hey guys, it's Donna. So today I'm going to be talking all about my miscarriage and what happened after my miscarriage, if I was trying to get pregnant again, and all that. So we're just going to get into the video and yeah. So in May of 2017, me and my boyfriend were still together and we were sexually active, but I was on birth control, but like I was on the pill, so every once in a while I would forget to take my pill, and that like messes up your birth control, so it's not effective until like you take it for a week straight. And then once you take it for a week straight again, then your birth control should be effective and you should be good to go. And whenever I say good to go, I mean like still use condoms, take precautions, because we didn't use condoms and I still got pregnant. And it could also have to do with the fact that I was missing my pill every once in a while, but even if I wasn't, there was still a possibility of me getting pregnant if he didn't use condoms and take precautions and all that good stuff. So please, if you are having sex, get on birth control, use condoms, do whatever you need to, because teen pregnancy is really hard and I don't want to glorify teen pregnancy. Like, I love my baby and I'm so excited to meet her and everything, but it has been really hard being pregnant as a teen. And if you're watching this and you haven't seen my previous videos, you're wondering about, thought you said you had a miscarriage. I did have a miscarriage, and then I got pregnant a month afterwards. So like basically immediately after my miscarriage I got pregnant again. So right now I'm 30 weeks pregnant with a baby girl. Anyways, on to my miscarriage story. So on May 18th of 2017, which was my boyfriend's birthday at the time, me and my dad had gotten into an argument, and so we decided to go and stay at William's parents' house for the night, because we had usually, like, William had always slept over at my house, and it was his birthday, so I really wanted him to sleep over. And then we got into a big fight because my dad was like, he's not staying over tonight, we have stuff to do. And I was like, we don't have anything to do, it's his 18th birthday, like, I want to be with him, I want him to spend time with me and everything. So I was like, whatever, I'm leaving. So I packed my stuff, and me and him decided to go and stay at his parents' house. We had, all that previous week, I had been waiting on my period, and it hadn't came yet, so I was a little, like, iffy, like, but sometimes my period was late because of my birth control, and I wasn't always regular, so I wasn't too worried about it, but me and William wanted to take a test just in case. So on the way to his house, we stopped at Walmart, and we picked up just like a generic test. It wasn't like a name brand or anything, it was like, I guess, the Walmart brand, and because we weren't thinking that I was going to be pregnant. So we were like, let's just get a cheap test, and then if it turns out positive, we'll go and get a good test or whatever. So we bought the test, and we went to his house, and his mom was in the hospital, so his parents weren't home, and it was just his brothers. And he has 3 brothers, and they're all younger than him. So they were all in the living room whenever we got there, and we had went to William's room, and we just sat on the bed, and I was like, I'm going to go take the test. And he goes, okay, just be quiet or whatever, because we don't want my brothers to know, because then they're going to tell my parents something's up. So I was like, okay. So I go into the bathroom, and I take the test, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like looking at the test, waiting for it to like pop up positive or negative. And I'm thinking it's going to be negative, I have nothing to worry about, everything's going to be fine. So I get on my phone, I'm just sitting there in the bathroom waiting, and I look back down, and there's 2 lines. And I'm like, okay, let me read the instructions. Maybe I didn't do something right. So I look at the instructions, and I did everything right, and 2 lines, means you're pregnant. And I start crying, and I go into the bedroom, and I show William, and I'm like sitting there crying, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, I can't be pregnant, my dad's gonna kill me, I can't do this, like, we're too young. At the time, I was only 16 still, and he had just turned 18, but my birthday was May 20th, so 2 days after his. And I was freaking out. I was so scared, I didn't know what to do, and William just kept saying, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna get through this, we can do this, we can be parents, like, all this. And I'm like, I can't be a mom, I'm too young, we can't do this. And so I end up calling my younger sister, because me and her are really close. I call her, and I'm like, Emily, I need to tell you something. And she goes, what? And I'm like, we're on FaceTime. And I just show her the test. And she goes, that's a fake. You're not really pregnant. And I'm like, no, I'm seriously pregnant. Like, I'm going to get another test tomorrow, and I'm going to make sure. So she's like, okay, just, we're not going to tell Dad. We can't tell Dad. Dad's going to kill you. And I was like, okay. So the next day at school, I'm freaking out the whole day. And I want to tell William's mom. I want to tell my dad. I want to tell everybody because I'm so scared and I can't do this on my own, you know. And William's like, no, we can't tell anybody yet. We can't tell anybody. So I end up calling my dad saying that I was sick, and he had called the school and said I needed to go home because at the school that I went to, all he had to do was call and they would let me leave. So I ended up leaving, and I went and picked up my best friend Casey, and she had taken me to go get another test, and I got the clear blue digital test, the ones that say pregnant or not pregnant. And we go back to my house, and before I even take it, I'm just sitting there, and we're sitting on the couch just talking, like, what if it comes out positive? What are we going to do? So she's like, it's going to be okay, you're going to be fine regardless, and all this. So I go into the bathroom, I take the test, and I walk out into the living room with the test, and I set it down, and we sit down on the couch for like 10 minutes, and we don't even look at the test. We eventually go, and we look at the test, and it says pregnant. So I start freaking out. I call my older sister, and she has 2 kids and everything, and she was a teen mom as well. So I call her, and I'm like, Wendy, I'm pregnant. What do I do? She's like, I'm going to come over after work, and we'll tell your dad together. And so this is May 19th, and my birthday was the next day. And so I went and picked up William from school, and he came, and my dad was just getting home right as soon as we got home. So William stayed in the car. He didn't even come inside with me. I go inside the house, and my sister's already there. My younger sister's there, and we're all sitting in the living room, and I just have the test in my hand. My dad walks in, and he's like, why is everybody here? And he goes, why didn't William come inside? And I look at him, and I say, there's something I need to tell you. And he goes, what? And I just get up, and I hand him the test, and he looks at it, and he throws the test. And he gets pissed off, and he's like, I need to see fucking William, like, da-da-da-da, excuse my language, but he's like, where is he? Like, why is he outside? I need to talk to him. So I go outside to get William. William's already headed down the street because he's scared. He's so scared what my dad's going to say. And then my dad ends up going to his room, and he just doesn't talk to me. He shuts his door, and I go in there, and he's crying, and he's like, you ruined your life. How could you do this to yourself? You had, like, you were going to go to college. You were going to do all this. You were taking college classes next year. Now you can't do any of that. You've ruined everything for yourself. And I'm sitting here like, that's not making me feel any better. I'm already upset. I'm already hurt. And there was nothing that I could do about it at that point. And while all this is going on, I end up having to take off of work the next day because I make an appointment at the clinic to confirm the pregnancy and make sure the tests weren't wrong. By this point, though, I had taken another test, and it came up positive as well. And I have like 4 tests that I took because I took the 2 clear blue ones, and then I took the 2 of the generic ones, and they all came back positive. But my dad was like, maybe it's a fake, maybe it's a fake. So we go to the clinic the next day. William has work, so it's just me and my dad and my younger sister. Whenever we get there, they were like, we need to talk to you by yourself. We need to, like, tell you all your options. I go into this room. They tell me my options. They're like, if you are pregnant after we, like, do the test or whatever, we'll do an ultrasound for you for free. And then we can see that from there how far along you are. And your options, you know, you can keep the baby, you can abort the baby, you can give the baby up for adoption. There's several different types of adoption. And they just kept going through everything, and I was like, if I'm pregnant, I'm keeping the baby. Me and my boyfriend are keeping the baby. We want the baby. So then she comes in with my results, and she's like, you're pregnant. And then we go into the ultrasound room, and I had already started laying down, and they had to do a transvaginal ultrasound because I was so early, and they couldn't see anything on the top. So whenever they did it, they had called in my dad and my sister, and they were just showing them on the screen everything, and they had seen the gestational sac, but there wasn't a heartbeat or anything because I was too early. And so they said that I can come back in 3 weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, and we can try again and see. So I was like, okay. I go home, I wait for William to get off work. He gets off work, he comes home, or back to my house, and I tell him that I'm pregnant. and he's excited. Like, he was always excited from the beginning. And he's like, okay, so what are we going to do now? Like, we need to go tell my mom. We need to do all this. And we told his mom. His mom was, like, at first she didn't believe it, but then she was excited. And then his stepdad was really angry. My dad had came over to their apartment, and we all sat down and talked. And Dirk was so angry, which is Will's stepdad. And he was furious, and he wanted to kill William. He was like, how could you get a girl pregnant? You're only 18. You have your whole life ahead of you. And he wanted me to abort the baby. He said, have you thought of abortion? And I was like, we're not going to abort the baby. I can't do that. And he goes, what about adoption? And I was like, I can't do that. I can't give up my baby. And Will's mom had given up one of her babies before, and she had always regretted it. And she told me that there's no way that I would let you give up your baby. And she was always supportive. She always has been. So that's how I found out that I was pregnant. That was a long explanation. So now we're going to get into the actual part of me having my miscarriage and how we dealt with my miscarriage. So a couple weeks go by. It's not, I guess, a week and a half went by, and me and William were just getting used to it, and we had just finished the year out of school, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for the next year, where we were going to go to school, if we were going to go back to the public school that we went to, or if we were going to go to a charter school to graduate early. And we had just been thinking about everything, and we ended up withdrawing from school, and we were decided that we were going to go to a charter school so that we can graduate early, we can get full-time jobs. Well, he can get a full-time job, and I can work as much as I can before our baby was born. And like I said, he was so excited about everything, and I was so excited. And then one day we came home, and I had felt something, and I thought it was just like discharge, because when you're pregnant you have more discharge than usual. And so I go to the bathroom to clean up, and there was blood, and there was a lot of it, and it was like I had started my period. So I just start crying, and I'm sorry, it's just bringing up everything. Anyways, I had started crying, and I went into the bedroom, and I said, William, we need to go to the hospital. And he goes, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm bleeding. And we had talked about what if I had a miscarriage, because I'm always scared of everything, and I always think of the negatives. I always think, what if, what if, what if? And he was like, you're not going to have a miscarriage, you're going to be fine, we're all going to be fine, our baby's going to be fine. And we had already started buying stuff for the baby because we were so excited. And so we went to, I called my dad, and I said, Dad, I'm going to the hospital. Or I said I need to go to the hospital, and he was at work, so he couldn't take me. And I have a car, so I was going to, we were going to drive up there, but I didn't know if I could even go and get seen because I was only 17, and they won't see minors. So we called the hospital to check, and they were like, if you're pregnant, we can see you. You don't have to be 18. So we're like, okay. And they're like, you need to come here immediately. So me and my younger sister and my boyfriend drove up to the hospital, and they immediately get us back. And I was about 6 weeks pregnant, 5 or 6 weeks pregnant, so I was really, really early. And I am freaking out, and I go back there, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do some tests on you. We're gonna do an ultrasound to see if we can see anything. We're gonna do all this. And I'm like, okay. So they do the ultrasound, and they can see the gestational sac and everything, and they can see the yolk sac, but we couldn't see a heartbeat. And the doctor that I had that day had said that it was probably just too early, and he had sent me home and said that it was a threatened miscarriage. He goes, I had ended up having to get a pelvic exam done, and whenever he did it, my cervix was still closed. So he goes, if you have a miscarriage, then you have a miscarriage, but as of right now, your cervix is still closed, you're still pregnant. So I'm like, okay. So he goes, if you have more bleeding where you're filling a pad, or if you have clots that are really big or anything, come back. So I go, okay. I go back home, and I'm cramping so bad. I'm in so much pain. And I go to the bathroom, and I have a clot that's like the size of a quarter. And I just start crying. I'm sitting there in the bathroom, and I'm crying. And I'm like, William, we need to go back to the hospital. And my dad was sleeping, so he didn't end up coming. Me and my boyfriend went up to the hospital, and my friend Casey came up there with me. And we go in, I get another pelvic exam done, and he goes, there's a lot of blood. And at this, like, what it looks like is that your body is trying to have a miscarriage, and you will most likely have a miscarriage. And I start crying, and he was so rude about it. He had no sympathy for me. He didn't care. It was just like his job. Like, this is what's gonna happen. You're probably gonna have a miscarriage. Don't expect the best. All this. And I'm like, I'm looking at William, and I said, you know, I love you, and no matter what happens, I'm always gonna love you, okay? And he goes, it's gonna be okay. Our baby's gonna be fine. And the doctor had said, just watch out for any more clots, because what you had at the house was not your baby. Your baby is still in there. And I'm like, okay. So we go back home. Over the next couple of days, I had a little bit of spotting, but the bleeding went away. And I ended up having my next ultrasound at the clinic within a week. So we go back, and I had told her, the technician, that everything that had happened, and she goes, okay, we're just going to do an ultrasound just to see. So we do the ultrasound, and she said, you lost the baby, and you are no longer pregnant. You had a miscarriage. And she did this while I was alone. She didn't let anybody come in before she told me. And everybody came in the room, and I'm already crying, and my boyfriend just comes up to me and he hugs me. And we were both so broken because we were so excited for our baby. Sorry. But the lady was like, I just want you to know that we're here for you. We're going to pray for you and all this. And I'm like, I just want to leave. I just want to get out of here. And she goes, well, you need to sign this paperwork. You need to do this. So I sign the paperwork and I leave. I get out of the building. Me and William come back home, and we just lay in bed together, and I'm crying to him and he's crying to me. And we're like, we need to go tell your mom. So we go to his house with my dad, and we tell his mom, and his mom just starts crying too because she was so excited to be a grandma. And we were just so hurt. And you know, we wanted that baby so bad. And we ended up naming our baby Ash because we didn't know if it was a boy or girl yet, and we had been thinking of names, and Ash was just one that we really liked together for our baby that we never got to meet. So me and William are parents already, and we have our baby in heaven that one day that we will get to meet. So that was how I found out that I was pregnant the first time, and how I had a miscarriage, and everything that happened to me and my family and my boyfriend and our story. And I hope that it helped you guys to know that you're not alone, and that even though I never got to hear the heartbeat, it still hurt. And you know, it's like that was my baby, you know, I was pregnant. And the crazy thing is, a lot of women don't even know that they're pregnant, because you can get pregnant and think that you're just late and then end up having your period whenever you're actually having a miscarriage, and you wouldn't even know it. So it's just crazy to think about that. And to answer your guys' question, was I trying to get pregnant again? No, I was not trying to get pregnant again. Me and William did want a baby together, but we were going to wait until we had gotten married and gotten on our feet and everything. We were going to wait. And, you know, we had sex again one time after my miscarriage, and that one time I got pregnant. And I wouldn't change anything, because I am blessed with a baby girl who I get to meet in 9 weeks, and I'm so excited. And even though me and William are no longer together, he's still excited for his daughter to be here, and he's going to be a great dad. And I'm going to be the best mom I can be to my baby, and, you know, that's that. And I just want you guys to know that miscarriage is really hard. No matter how far along you are, no matter anything, it's really hard. So if you know anybody who's going through a miscarriage, don't tell them that, you know, oh, you know, it's fine, you were only 5 weeks, it's not like it really mattered or anything like that, because I got that. People had told me that, and it mattered to me and William. It killed both of us. We were so broken. And, you know, a miscarriage tears a lot of relationships apart, but it brought me and William closer together because we were both grieving a loss. And, you know, so sorry this video was really long, but I just wanted to put that out there and let you guys know my miscarriage story. And if any of you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can DM me on my social medias, which I'll have linked in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys for all of your support with everything. You guys are so amazing, and I love you all. So